was a night like any other in the ER, controlled chaos, the kind you learn to navigate after years on the floor. I'm Sarah, the charge nurse, and I was keeping the team on track when the call came in. A young man, mid-20s, found collapsed in his apartment. No medical history, no warning, just a sudden, massive stroke. His roommate had discovered him on the floor, still breathing but unresponsive, eyes open yet unseeing. We threw everything at him the moment he arrived. Neurology was in the room within minutes, but the CT scan confirmed our worst fears. Complete brain herniation, no brainstem activity. He was gone. The attending ran 2 full sets of tests before declaring him brain dead. It's a clinical, final judgment, but it never feels that way when you're standing there, watching a life slip away. His family arrived soon after, his mother and 2 sisters. They were shattered, but held themselves together with a quiet strength that always humbles me. His mom clutched a photo of him graduating college, beaming with pride. His sisters stood close, their eyes red, but dry, as if they'd already cried all they could. They agreed to organ donation quickly, almost eagerly, like it was the last gift they could give him. "It's what he'd want," his mom said, voice steady despite the tears. "I don't usually stay involved once the organ donation process starts. That's for the ICU and OR teams. But something kept me there that night. Maybe it was the way he looked as they wheeled him out, still warm, heart beating steadily, as if he might wake up any second. His name was Michael, I think. He had a mop of dark hair and a small anchor tattoo on his wrist, a detail that stuck with me. It's a strange limbo, knowing the mind is gone but the body hasn't caught up yet. His chest rose and fell with the ventilator, his face slack, peaceful in a way that felt wrong. Death is supposed to look final, but he looked like he was just sleeping, waiting for someone to nudge him awake. Hours passed, and I was back on the floor when one of the OR nurses came looking for me. Her face was pale, eyes wide with something between fear and disbelief. "They haven't started," she said. "They couldn't." I followed her to the surgical floor, my stomach knotting with each step. The transplant surgeon was there, scribbling notes with a hand that trembled just slightly. He's a steady man, unflappable under pressure. I've seen him handle the worst cases without flinching, but he looked rattled. They'd opened the chest, everything prepped for the harvest. Then, the moment his gloved hand touched the heart, barely a brush, it started beating harder, faster, like it was protesting. Not the mechanical rhythm of a pacemaker or a drug-induced spike, but a fierce, almost defiant pounding, like a fist hammering from the inside. The patient was brain dead. No nerve signals, no brain activity, no drugs in his system to explain it. One of the assistants swore she saw the EKG jump, but there were no monitors hooked up. They were there to take the heart, not save it. The room went still. No one moved. For 10 minutes, the team stood back, rechecking every detail. No vitals, no reflexes, still brain dead. The heart settled, and eventually, they proceeded. It was transplanted into a waiting recipient, and it worked. It saved a life. But it left a shadow over everyone involved. The family didn't know, but the staff couldn't shake it. Later, the surgeon found me in the hallway. He was staring out at the city lights, lost in thought. "It was like it knew," he said quietly, like it wasn't ready to go. I nodded, thinking of Michael's heart, fighting to stay even after his mind had left. Maybe it was just a reflex, a last surge of life. Or maybe it was something else, something we'll never chart. I've seen hearts stop and start again, but this was different. Not science, not miracle. Just a reminder that the body holds mysteries we can't explain. In this job, you think you understand the boundaries of life and death, vitals, reflexes, brain waves, but sometimes the lines blur. I still think about that young man, the boy whose heart wouldn't quit. His anchor tattoo, his family's quiet bravery, the way his chest kept rising even when he was gone. Every so often I pass the surgical floor on a quiet night, and I wonder what the heart remembers when the mind has let go. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. We deal with flesh and bone, with science and protocol, but there are echoes in these walls, moments that linger, questions that don't fade when the monitors go silent. Michael's heart saved someone, but it left me with a chill I can't shake, a whisper of something beyond the cold, sterile logic of the ER. There's a rhythm to the ER, a kind of controlled chaos that becomes second nature after years of working the floor. Codes come in, patients are saved or lost, and you learn to move with it, like a tide that never ebbs. Most nights you stop trying to make sense of everything, but some things dig in deep, like the metallic tang of blood or the sting of antiseptic, and they don't let go. It was a Friday night in early fall, and the ER was alive with its usual mix. Drunks stumbling in from the bars, minor car wrecks, a couple of kids with twisted ankles from soccer games. I was the charge nurse that shift, keeping the chaos in check, checking triage, stabilizing patients, making sure the residents didn't fumble anything fatal. Just another night. Around 11:30 p.m., the radio crackled with a call. Car accident. Male, mid-30s, high speed, no seatbelt. We cleared trauma room 3 and braced ourselves. I can still hear the gurney wheels clattering against the tiles as they rolled him in. Too loud. Always too loud. But that moment felt like the world held its breath. The paramedics were in overdrive, doing compressions, pushing fluids. He was a wreck. Road rash, scraped down to the bone on his left side, chest caved in from the impact. Collapsed lung, shattered ribs, likely a cardiac contusion. We threw everything at him. Tubes, paddles, meds, the works. But there's only so much a body can take. Time of death was called at 11:49 p.m. I stood there, catching my breath. I zipped the body bag myself. His jaw hung slack, mouth open, a look I've seen too often. Not pain, just stillness. He went quick, probably didn't even register it. We left him there for a moment. It's what we do. Give the dead a beat of respect before the morgue takes them. I told Jessie, one of the newer nurses, to keep an eye on the room while I grabbed the paperwork. She was posted just outside the door. Then it hit, screaming. Not a murmur, not a gasp. A full-on, raw, panicked scream tearing out of that room. Deep and guttural, like someone waking up to a nightmare they couldn't escape. I heard it. Jessie heard it. A tech passing by stopped dead. We locked eyes for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, the sound drilling into us. I didn't think, I just pushed the door open. The lights were steady, no flickering, no alarms tripped, nothing out of place. The body was still there, mouth open like it had just let loose that howl. No chest movement, no pulse. Cold as stone. Dead. I stepped inside, staring at him. I've heard screams like that before, from families watching someone slip away, from pain so sharp it breaks you, never from a corpse. We checked it all. Monitors were off, no signs of a reflex or a glitch. Later, we even pulled the hallway camera footage. Nothing went in, nothing came out. Just the scream. I logged it as best I could. Auditory anomaly reported from Trauma Room 3 post-time of death. No physical activity observed, no patient vitals. Multiple staff witnesses, clinical words for something that didn't fit anywhere in the playbook. I wasn't about to write dead man screaming in a hospital report. In the break room later, Jessie found me. She didn't say much, just sat there for a minute before asking, "Do you think he didn't know he was gone?" I didn't have an answer. We don't talk about it often. That room sat empty for a while after. Not because we're spooked, mind you. We're nurses. We live by numbers, not phantoms. But no one wanted to linger in there solo. Sometimes when the ER quiets down late at night, I pass Trauma Room 3 and think about him. The crash, the speed, that frozen face, the scream. What kind of terror clings to you after your heart gives out? No flickering lights, no cold chills, just a question that won't settle. You see a lot in this job, and after 20-something years, You stop chasing explanations for every oddity. Most of it's just noise, coincidence, exhaustion, the mind playing tricks. But some nights carve themselves into you, and no amount of logic scrubs them out. You get used to coincidence in the ER. People come in with the same last names, similar birth dates, even matching injuries. You chalk it up to odds and move on. But some nights make you pause, make you question if there's something more at play. I'm Emily, and I've been a nurse here for 22 years. I thought I'd seen it all, until the night of the two Claras. It was a Friday evening, the ER humming with its usual mix of chaos and control. Drunks from the bars, a few fender benders, a couple of kids with sports injuries. I was the charge nurse, keeping the flow moving, checking in with triage, making sure the residents didn't make any fatal mistakes. Just another night. Around 7:20 p.m., the radio crackled with a call. Car accident, female, mid-30s, head-on collision. We prepped trauma room 4. The paramedics wheeled her in, working hard to keep her alive. She was unresponsive, coded once en route, but they got her back. Her name was Clara, a simple name, soft and familiar. She had light brown hair, pale skin smeared with blood, and a silver necklace with a charm that said, "Breathe." Her injuries were catastrophic, massive internal bleeding, shattered pelvis, the works. The trauma team jumped in, full effort, but she was slipping fast. While we were in the thick of it, pushing blood and calling for the OR, triage interrupted me. "Emily, we've got another trauma coming in. Female, same age, car wreck. Name's Clara." I paused, the name echoing in my mind. "Same name?" They nodded. "Clara, and same date of birth, March 14th, 1987. I blinked, a chill creeping up my spine. That's not something you hear twice in a lifetime, let alone in an hour. I walked over to the charge desk to double-check, thinking it had to be a mistake. Maybe the same woman's ID was found at another crash site. But no, the paramedics radioed in new details. Different location, different time, different vehicle. No passengers, no overlap. Two Claras, same name, same birthday, no connection. The second Clara arrived, just as we lost the first. I remember glancing at the clock as we called time of death for the first Clara. 8:04 p.m. The second one rolled in at 8:06 p.m. She looked nothing like the first. Dark skin, curly hair, a long scar across her forearm that looked years old. Semi-conscious, mumbling about her brakes failing. Chest trauma, fractured ribs, airway compromised. I held her hand while anesthesia intubated her. She squeezed my fingers once, tight, as if clinging to life. I told her we were here. She wasn't alone. She kept whispering something over and over. I leaned in close and made out 2 words. "She's waiting." She coded on the table, "massive cardiac arrest." We worked her for 12 minutes, but it was flatline, no response. Time of death, 8:18 p.m., just 14 minutes after the other Clara. The ER fell quiet for a moment, the weight of the coincidence settling over us like a shroud. We ran every check, cross-referenced names, next of kin, photos, social security numbers. They were completely unrelated. Different hometowns, no matching records. Not even mutual friends on social media when we looked later. Nothing. Just coincidence, the reports would say. But you tell me what the odds are of 2 women named Clara, born the same day, dying the same night in separate car crashes in the same ER. Some of the younger nurses joked about doppelgangers, trying to lighten the mood. Someone else asked if it was a glitch in the matrix, a hiccup in the fabric of reality. Me, I just stood outside room 4, where the second Clara had been, and tried to understand the silence she left behind. I've seen the world end for families hundreds of times, held the hands of strangers as they took their last breath. But that night felt like something else entirely. Not haunting, not supernatural, just uncanny. Like two lives, drawn apart, met at the same point for no reason we could name. That was 3 years ago now, and I still think about those words. She's waiting. The way the second Clara said them, with such certainty, as if she knew something we didn't. I never told anyone about that detail, kept it locked away in the part of my mind where unexplainable things go to rest. But sometimes, during the quiet hours of a night shift, when the hospital settles into its rhythm of beeping monitors and hushed conversations, I wonder if somehow, impossibly, they did know each other. Not in this world, maybe, but somewhere else entirely. Same name, same birthday, same death. Somewhere in the cold, sterile logic of the hospital, that should make sense. But it never has. Some nights in the ER stay with you, not because of the blood or the chaos or even the death. It's what you can't chart, can't explain, can't forget. The two Claras are one of those nights, a story that lingers in the back of my mind, a reminder that sometimes the universe plays by rules we don't understand.